Hello, beautiful planty people. It's Skully, and welcome to Skully's Creations, where we talk about plants and occasionally do a creative project here and there. If that sounds like your thing, your jam, please subscribe. Make sure you hit the bells to be notified next time I put out a planty video. All right. So, with that being said, today we are going to go over some of the tips that I would recommend for travelers to successfully keep houseplants in their home. And additionally, going over the plants that I would recommend for you to keep. Plants that I can confidently tell you, if you're not home often, or if you just don't want the hassle of like watering your houseplants like every week, or you want to go a little bit longer, this is your video, okay? This is all of the things that you need to know to successfully have that. So let's get into it. Tip number 1, do not use terracotta. Make sure that you are keeping your plant in either a nursery pot or a ceramic pot. It's just, you'll be able to water and go a lot longer without having to water again. Next up is tip number 2, your soil mixture. So you want to use something that retains water a little bit more. So if you're using something like coco coir, that would be a real big help, because coco coir not only is really airy and fluffy, so it's not going to get compact, but it's also going to retain water a lot longer than if you were to use maybe a chunkier aeroid mix like orchid bark and pumice and all of these things that are aerating your plant, which are good, but your plant will also dry out a lot quicker. So maybe instead of using like your organic potting mix, replace that with coco coir and maybe some perlite, because again, you still want aeration in your plant. And then if you have that in a plastic or ceramic pot, then you're gonna go a lot longer again without having to water your plant. So 1, again, it's less fuss, and 2, if you're a traveler, you get the point. I'm gonna stop saying if you're a traveler, because this is your video, right? Okay, so that's tip number 2, is just to make sure that you have a bit more of a moisture retaining soil. Okay, so tip number 3 is keeping a plant that can live in water. That is actually super helpful, because if you have a plant living in water, instead of having to keep it like on a watering schedule, if you're about to leave and you just have a plant living in water, you can just top it off and be gone for 3 weeks. And depending on the location of your plant, it should be fine. And the reason I say depending on the location of your plant is because if you have it in a higher lit location, it's going to use more water. But if you have it in a lower lit location, then it's going to use a lot less water. So just keep those things in mind. So that's my tip number 3, is potentially just keeping a plant that lives in water, such as a syngonium or a pothos, something like that. Alrighty, so final tip before we get into the plants is tip number 4, and this is a terrarium. Yes, and this kind of goes similarly to plants in water, because terrariums pretty much maintain themselves. For example, the terrarium that I keep, I barely had to water one plant in there. And it has been, oh goodness, it has been more than 3 weeks. For like, if I'm thinking, I'm trying to think like how long. See, this is the perfect example. I can't even remember when the last time, other than yesterday, before then, did I put any water in that terrarium. My point exactly, right? So terrarium, yes, keep terrarium. A terrarium is basically self-maintaining, or even a plant in a cloche. A cloche basically keeps all of that humidity in, and that moisture that's in that soil or whatever potting medium you've used is just going to take a lot less time to dry out. And also, what's really great about terrariums is they look cool. So not only do you have something that looks cool, but you also have something that is self-maintaining and you don't really have to worry about it. If you really, really travel a lot, or if you really don't want any fuss, something that's pretty much self-maintaining, terrarium is what you want. All right, so now let's get into the plants. What do I recommend if you are a traveler or, again, someone who just wants low maintenance plants? Something that you don't have to worry about too often. What I'm going to do is go from direct, indirect, and low light tolerant plants. See how I said low light tolerant? Okay. Low light tolerant also would appreciate bright and direct light, but I'm still going to keep that as a category for anyone who doesn't have a really bright lit location, maybe just has like one small window in a room and just wants a plant in there. Those are going to be the plants that are going to be in the low light category. Okay, so first off, direct light. If you guess cacti and succulent, then you're right. And I have a few to show you here. So this is gonna be this is the blue torch cactus, and I gotta say, it has been going on 2 months since I've watered this. And the reason why is because all of this, I don't wanna poke myself, but the cactus itself holds water, so it can go a lot longer. And of course it needs to do that. They come from the deserts, so it doesn't rain there very often. So this is a really, really good one because it holds water and it goes a long time without needing to be watered. Would highly recommend specifically a blue torch cactus, because it's like the pointy things, I can't remember what they're called, but the pointy things are yellow, but the cactus itself is blue, hence the name blue torch cactus. But I don't know, I really, really do enjoy this one. Or something like this. I actually got this in a set from IKEA, and oh my goodness, it was a really good deal. I think I got all 3 of them for like 10 bucks. So anyways, yes, I would definitely recommend. Now, I can't remember what this cactus is called. It, like I said, just came in a set of 3, but I don't have to water this one. It's just, it goes a really long time. So for, you know, the theme of this video, this is a really, really good one. And I would definitely recommend if you have this space for this one. Next up is the succulents, but I'm more so talking about like this. So this is an echeveria, and this leaf holds water. Actually, a tip on watering an echeveria: if you like give this like echeveria like a small squeeze, right? And if it's a little bit soft, then it's time to water. Or if you see that it's a little bit wrinkly, like this one, if you can see that. Do you see how it's a little bit wrinkly? That's a telltale sign that this plant needs water. Also, these are like its last leaves because it's putting, you know, energy in making these like babies right here. But anyways, because of that, it can go a long time without needing water. And especially if you have it in a plastic pot, it's going to go even longer because that plastic pot is going to retain water a lot longer. So yes, echeveria. Next succulent I have to show you, it's this one right here. And this one's really cool in my opinion because do you see those back? Yeah, the back of the leaves are really, really purple, which I love. And then the front of the leaves are like a blue-green color, so with a splash of purple in between. So that's why I really, really, really do enjoy this one. And again, this is one that can go a very long time without me watering it because of its thick leaves. And you can actually see how thick those leaves are. Yeah, and because of that, that's why I would recommend this succulent. Again, I just really enjoy the color and the fact that obviously I don't have to water it very often. So this will definitely survive if you're gone for like 3 weeks and you watered it the week before you left. So you'll definitely be good with this one. And then another one that would be really good for direct light is a Hoya. More specifically, this one is a Hoya Sunrise, and as you can see, it has been by the window for quite a while, and you see how she's getting sun stressed, that's because she has direct light. And it's, she's getting there. It does take time for Hoyas to sun stress, but it is so beautiful once they do. And as you can see, that color is really coming in. So I would definitely recommend a Hoya Sunrise for someone who has direct light. The color that they'll get is like a really intense red color. So Hoya Sunrise, I would also recommend this one for anyone because it's just a really easy plant. I mean, again, I wouldn't recommend having it in terracotta if you travel a lot, but even with me having it in terracotta, I don't have to water this very often at all. So really any Hoyas. And that actually leads me to indirect light because Hoyas can handle direct light and they'll sun stress really nicely for you, or they can handle bright indirect light. I'll show you specifically this one, the Hoya obovata. But again, because of their thick leaves, this soil can be completely dry. And again, because of their waxy and thick leaves, and again, because they hold water in their leaves, they go a long time without being watered. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to generalize Hoyas there. But the next plant that I would actually recommend in indirect light is gonna be Scindapsus. And this is the Scindapsus exotica. But really, any Scindapsus would be fine with someone who travels a lot because they can go a really long time without being watered. And especially like me, I have this in a plastic pot, for that reason. And you'll see that I don't really have a lot of plants in terracotta right now. But yeah, this is a really good one. And again, like I said, really any Scindapsus. So this is just the Scindapsus exotica. I really love this plant because the leaves, I mean, as you can see, the leaves are pretty big and they pretty much stay big. Like this is a newer leaf. Even as they trail down, what usually happens when plants trail down like this is the leaves get a little bit smaller, but the Scindapsus exotica pretty much stays pretty big. So yeah, Scindapsus exotica. Okay, so the next plant that I'm going to recommend is actually going to be a plant that lives in water, and she is my Syngonium white butterfly. Now, the leaves are really green, and that's why I have her in that indirect category, but she's kind of in between indirect and low light. And the reason is because of those really green leaves. Now, as you can see, that white isn't really that bright, and she has a little bit more green on her, and that's because of the location that I have her in. But she's fine. This one right here is actually a new leaf, so she's doing good. But yeah, she just lives in this vase or vase, however you want to say it. And the reason the water is dark like this is because I have liquid dirt in here, and liquid dirt is the nutrients that I'm currently using to feed my plants. So, ooh, excuse me, ooh, my bad. You just kind of like, and you like air just, anyways. So excuse me. So yeah, as I was saying, that's why she's in that indirect slash in between low light because of those really green leaves. And she's a really easy plant, and she's a plant that can live in water and you don't have to worry about her. You can just top off, leave for 3 weeks, and your plant is still going to be alive. So yeah, Syngonium white butterfly. Okay, so that's all I have for you for indirect. Now moving on to low light. And low light, don't come at me because I am going to show you one that we all know is low light tolerant, but for that person who's gone for 2 weeks or just wants low maintenance plant, this is the plant and I can't not show it to you. So it's gonna be ZZ plant. More specifically, the ZZ Raven. And the reason I'm showing you the ZZ Raven is because it is a little bit cooler. Don't get me wrong, I love the regular ZZ plant. It's gorgeous. But the Raven is, really dark foliage. Like I currently have her in a black pot. That's kind of coming apart actually because I painted it. But yeah, she's in a plastic pot. I don't have to worry about her because she retains water in the stems, And also, I'll put a picture, but also her roots retain a lot of water, and her roots basically look like potatoes. I'll insert a picture, but yes, so because she retains water in her roots and she retains water in her stems, and because of that, she's a perfect plant for someone like you. So again, I couldn't not show her. Now, I will say though, with the ZZ, I did have them outside for the summer and they loved it. They absolutely love the bright and direct light. They absolutely thrived in the high humidity that we have here in Texas. So these conditions made the ZZ plant thrive. However, now that I have them inside, she is in a low light location and she's fine. So really, really low light tolerant plants. Okay, so that's the ZZ Raven. Okay, so the next plant I have to show you is going to be another common plant, but look, she's in everyone's house for a reason, and that is a pothos. This one specifically is a global green pothos. Now, I would actually recommend a jade pothos for low light, but she's just the one I had available to show you, and I did want to make sure that you knew that the more green varieties are going to be the ones that are more tolerant in lower light. I have her in an indirect location because of that like lime green variegation that she has, and in order for her to keep that variegation, she does need a little bit more light. That's why I didn't show you like a marble queen or a mandula, because those do need more light. But anything that's more on the greener side, like a jade pothos, is going to be a really good one, or epipremnum, however you want to say it. Pothos is just the common name. But yeah, epipremnum, you can even do like an epipremnum pinatum, the green one, and that would be good for a low light location as well. So yeah, I won't talk too much about her, but I will tell you that I have her in a ceramic pot, and it has been about 4 weeks since I've had to water her, and I will be barely watering her today. So she's a perfect one for the people of this video. So that's my pothos. Okay, so the final plant that I have for the low light category, and just for those people who are travelers or don't want to water their plants every single week, is going to be my rickrack cactus. First of all, can we just appreciate how like funky she looks? I mean, look at these squigglies. She's just so cool. Now, I actually do have her in a low lit location. She's the furthest plant away from my window, and she is still growing. Like all of this right here, all that is new growth. She has like new growth coming in from the bottom right here. So she's doing really well. And again, because I have her in a ceramic pot, I do not have to water her very often at all. She's actually going on around 4 weeks as well, like honestly like most of these plants are that I've showed you in today's video, hence why they were in today's video. But anyways, yeah, my rickrack cactus, I can't say any more like better things about her other than I love how funky she looks, and she's perfect for the people of this video. So anyways, that is my rickrack cactus. Absolutely love her. So alright y'all, well that is it for today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you liked today's video, leave me a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave me a comment down below letting me know what you would like to see instead. I'll be happy to do so. But yeah, until next Friday, I hope you'll have a wonderful planty day, and I'll see you then. Alright, bye!